Tori Courville. What's up?
What's up, bro?
What's up? Hold on. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man.
Thanks for coming on today. We're gonna jump right in. I think I know you a little bit, obviously,
Yeah.
but for those people that don't know you already, who are you? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. So let's see. Uh, right now, I'm a husband. I'm a father of two. I'm a son of the Most High. First off, before those other things. But yeah, man, I'm extremely blessed to be where I'm at right now. It didn't start out there, but working for KMAC now as a project manager. Thank you for the opportunity to come on to not only give my story and but also work with you, alongside you, and serve you in the best way I can.
Of course, dude. It's an honor to have you. So yeah, it's an honor to have you on the pod, but also K-Mac, we got your back.
Yeah.
Another tie-in together. But okay, so that's where you're at now. Husband.
Yeah.
What's your wife's name?
My wife is Victoria Courville.
Father. What's their
Father,
names?
Bryden and Briella.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you said son of the Most High, working for K-Mac.
Yes,
So
sir.
that's where you're at now.
Yes.
Were you always that person?
Oh, absolutely. I was just joking. No.
Tell us a little bit about your backstory. Like, hey, as far as you want to go back, upbringing, what got you to where you are today? What's been important, pivotal moments in your life? Like,
Yeah, sure.
what's some of your story?
So, I guess we can go back. I grew up traditionally Catholic. I say that because my faith now has really what changed the trajectory of my life. So I grew up traditionally Catholic. Saw a lot of hypocrisy in the church, as do most people. Just a lot of religious people saying do this, do that, don't do this, do that, don't do that, and when they leave the church doors, they do something totally different. So I saw that. I didn't want to be a part of it. So going from like high school to graduation and stuff like that, I pretty much didn't believe in God anymore, or chose to not believe, even though I knew deep down in my heart that He was real. So from high school till that point, dabbled in drugs, alcohol, the world, the things of the world, the lust of the flesh, all those things. And yes, I had one kid on the way. I was working for the Lafayette Fire Department. It was my career. I loved being a fireman. I loved serving people. I didn't know, why I love serving people so much, but I do know now. But back then, I was still dealing with a lot of those addictions, those strongholds in my life. Like I said, my wife was pregnant. We weren't married at the time. With my first one, she was actually 9 months pregnant. I went on a fire department golf trip and ended up getting in some trouble. Got intoxicated, ended up going to jail, facing multiple felonies. It was a real low point in my life. And by that point, my wife had been trying to speak God to me and say that the promises of God, like He loves me, He's there for me. Like she saw God in she saw who I was deep down inside, and she never gave up on me. I think God put that on her heart early on, never to give up on me, and I'm glad she didn't, because that was a real tough position. She then found out all the things I had been hiding from her the past decade. All the stuff I was doing behind closed doors, all the addictions and everything. She found those things out, and I'd like to say that was the moment where everything turned around, but it wasn't. I was hard-headed, and I still loved the things of this world, the things that were more important to me than her, than my daughter that was on the way. And so after I was extremely blessed in that situation not to be convicted of any of those charges that I had. I was able to go through some programs to get out of that. And once I stepped out of that, I chose a new career path, but yet I was still dealing with a lot of those same struggles. Then there was one night I remember specifically. It was for one of my brother-in-law's, his wedding. My wife and I, we had a little bit too much to drink, and we decided to drive home. And right now, we were actually living with my parents at the time, preparing to build on a piece of property we had. And we made it back to the house that night. I don't know how. She doesn't know how. the realization moment. We got two beautiful children here, people all around us that are loving for us, loving on us, fighting for us, and yet, we're gonna continue to choose the world. And at that moment, we gave it up. We gave up everything, all of our vices, everything. We actually wrote down on a piece of paper, my wife and I, the same day. Lord, I don't know if you're real, but if you are, we're going to give this our best shot. We're going to give it up to you. We don't even know what that means. We don't know what that looks like, but we're going to give it all to you. We're going to seek you when we need to be comforted, not these vices, not these things of the world. And to be honest, I didn't even have confidence that I could do it. I didn't know what that looked like, but that was the true pivotal moment. Years and years after you think you hit rock bottom, you hit the low, that you would come out of it, but it wasn't until that moment. And I look back now and I can recognize that moment, but I didn't know it at the time. And since then, there's been just one thing after another that has led us, to know Christ more, to love on each other more, to have the right perspective in life, to be part of the community. So that's...
Come on, man.
Yeah.
That's, I remember, I've heard your story a little bit, but even to hear it again, that's really cool. To have such a moment that you remember where hey, we're going to write this down on paper. And after doing something foolish and lots of foolish, just like you said, living for the world, not having anything, and then just have that moment of okay, it kind of sounds like you got to a place where all right, enough is enough. We're missing what's right in front of us. We're chasing all these things. So how have things changed since that moment? We hear a little about potential felonies, jail time, arrested, still going back to the things of the world. You sound like a different person now is what it sounds like. But how have things changed since that moment where you wrote it on paper? And you're today is the day. I don't know even what it means, but today is the day. How have things changed since then?
It's funny. I still have that paper in my glove box in my car that I drive every single day. It's a reminder of that day. So from that point on, like I said, we're planning on building on a piece of property, and we're going back and forth trying to decide what we're gonna do, whether we put a trailer or build a nice beautiful home on the property. I had been imagining it since I was a little kid. I knew that this piece of property was gonna be ours. I was gonna live on it for the rest of my life. It was gonna be our forever location, even before I knew my wife. And one thing happened after another, but this was immediately after we had given everything up to God. We walked into a manual builder's office, and we decided we were going to build a home. This was right before COVID happened. So right before interest rates went crazy, housing prices, materials, everything went up. So we were able to lock in a really good interest rate for a beautiful home at a great price, which now is looking back, it's crazy. It was God's hand on our life. We didn't have peace in what decision to make. It was until we had made that decision to give everything up to Him. And so that started the ripple effect into where we are now. And from that moment on, we had gotten into CrossFit, so we met a lot of amazing driven people in the CrossFit gym. People don't go suffer doing CrossFit if they're not a little bit crazy, right? But those crazy people are also successful in a lot of different avenues: business, life, faith, knowing Christ. And so we've been able to build a lot of relationships since then. My wife, she has her own testimony, but it's hard for me to tell my testimony without giving, she's such a big part of mine. She felt that God led her to start CrossFit and doing it at a competitive level. So we found a gym near us, and she dove head into it, and she's been able to minister and be an example and show fruit of Christ in her life for the past 4 or 5 years now. And but I love talking about my wife. She's such a blessing.
Come on.
Yeah,
I like talking about mine too. She fine as heck. Okay, not yours, mine. I was saying my wife is fine. You can say yours is too, but I was talking about my wife. I know your wife too. She's great. She's incredible. Great friend to Katie and I.
Yeah.
And see, let's talk about that. Even your family, seeing your family, when we first met y'all, I'm like, dude, these people are great. Their kids are so kind. Their kids are so great. Tori and Victoria got to be amazing. But so hearing your story, it's oh yeah, this wasn't that long ago. You're talking about this going on 4, 5, 6, 6 years ago, whatever. that you're walking through all this. So people meeting you now, they're like, oh, it's easy for them to say, like, they've always had it together. They always been walking with Jesus. They've always had things easy in their life. What would you say to that? Of like, like looking at you now and Victoria now and y'all's kids now, like, oh yeah, they've always had a smooth life, and they're just so kind. It's easy for them to talk about Jesus. They've never done anything wrong.
Yeah.
What would you say to that?
I love those moments when we share a little bit of our past with somebody, because they're like, this, it's just a whole new creation. That's what Christ does. You're a new creation in Christ. The old you is dead and gone away. And there's no denying it. Like I was saying earlier about the fruit. When we started to walk, it was a time that we did it as a family. So we hadn't even been a part of a church or anything like that. We decided that, hey, we're gonna get in His Word, because if His Word is true, we want that to be the foundation of our faith, right? So we got into His Word as a family with our kids. We're all gonna learn from the same point. We're gonna grow together as a family unit. And so for the past 4 years, that's what we've done. And now we're getting to the point where we're, seeking, people in our circle, in our community that have similar mindsets. They walk with Jesus daily. It's not just a one day a week thing. It's like we do this every day. When people see, it's such a blessing when people see my kids and they see, they're so well behaved, or a lot. We get this a lot. You're just lucky, like your kids turned out this way. No, you don't even understand how much work we have to put in on a daily basis for ourselves, much less our relationship together and our kids. Like it's a constant, it's a full-time job. But I want to make sure that they grow up knowing who Christ was, knowing truth. We don't play any lie games in my house. There's no this or that that the world gives into. We don't play none of that. It's because I want them to believe everything that comes out of my mouth. I don't want them to have any doubt that I'm trying to lead them astray or trying to shelter them from anything in the world. We tell them everything. And a lot of people, might not look at that as a positive thing. They want to shelter their kids from the world, but they're going to find out. And I'd rather them find out the truth from us. And so, I think that speaks volumes to the way my kids are and the way we walk as a family unit. And no matter where we go, we can shine the light of Jesus. And that's our goal. And that's what I think we're walking in right now. And I'm very thankful to be there.
Which is cool to see. And I mean, it spoke to me as a dad too, but the cool thing was, hearing your story at the beginning, you're like, hey, my wife's 9 months pregnant. I'm out here cutting up, doing this, getting arrested. Hey, even after we had kids, hey, I'm still cutting up, still living. So it's like, it wasn't always that way. You're not some perfect person that's got it all together, and that's why you're a great father, and that's why Vic's a great mom, and the kids are so great. It's like, oh no, you're like continually going back to the source.
Yeah.
Could you even say that obviously since y'all committed your life to Christ, you are a brand new creation, but has it always been easy?
No, it's daily.
Like, do you still face challenges?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be battling our flesh to the day that we die. So the people that are the most mature in your eyes, that have been walking with the Lord 50 plus years, so they still deal with issues of the flesh. I mean, Paul writes about it. Like, all of his letters talk about it. It's like, we're going to battle that, right? But the quicker we can turn that around, the more apparent it is. Like, am I walking in the flesh now, or am I walking in the Spirit? Am I allowing God to flow through me right now, or am I, taking things in my own strength? It's like, I think that almost levels you up in levels of spiritual maturity. It's like, can you recognize those things, and do you have the tools or the knowledge of the tools that you do have inside of you to turn those things around, in that moment. So. Okay. Yes, for sure. Still struggle.
Still challenges.
Yes, absolutely. But I don't identify with those things anymore. Those things that
don't define me.
Yeah, they don't define me anymore. I have a new identity. It's no longer who I was. So it's kind of crazy to talk about that old person, because I vaguely remember him, but I believe that my life hadn't really started till 5 years ago. It's like, seriously.
You were walking around living, but you were spiritually dead.
Yes.
Dead inside.
Absolutely.
Not to say you weren't. There's not. I mean, even Vic saw it. There's the potential. There's Tori, the Tori that I know to be. Even before she was kind of living for the Lord too, she still saw something, and He stuck by you, spoke life into you, and built you up, even if she didn't fully understand at the time either.
Yeah.
And so that's what's cool is like, all the P words. We're pursuing all the things back then of the flesh. Now we're in pursuit of the cross. We're not perfect, but we're pursuing the cross. And we say goodbye to the old ways. I don't know, it's a special journey, so it's cool to hear your story. But let's talk about Slick Vic a little bit. Victoria, your wife, what would you say? You said a little bit about her already, but I guess the question is like, what does being a husband mean to you? What does Victoria mean to you? Like, speak to that a little
Yeah,
bit.
I'm still trying to figure it out. What being a husband is. I'm trying to get better every single day. I think she's been like a beacon of light for me to follow, even before I knew. Like God was just shining through her, even before she knew. She's always been the one to be there for me. I know it's like people say that all the time, but it's so true. Not only in the physical, but like spiritually. She just sees things, she senses things. I think the Holy Spirit's been flowing through her for a very long time, since she was a little kid. She'll bring up memories of her childhood where, she listened, she obeyed, what God was telling her, and it got her out of some crazy situations. And in a sense, like when she was stepping into her calling now that she's walking in through CrossFit, it was kind of crazy when it didn't seem like a possible journey. It's like, you want to be the fittest in the world. You're like 30 something years old. Everything the world would tell you, like, it's not gonna work. She didn't care.
She just knew that's what she was supposed to do.
Yeah, and it didn't make sense financially. Like she went from staying home, taking care of the kids, being a homemaker, which is a job in itself, a task that is too tall for me to do. So I'm thankful for her for that. But like on top of that, she trains every single day as a full-time athlete, and we didn't have the finances for her when she first stepped into it. It didn't make sense, actually. I'll say that, but a raise came about. It was kind of funny. A raise came about in my previous job that was the exact amount that she needed to hire her first coach. And it was kind of crazy. It's like, well, we just got this little break in finances, and you want to just go hire a coach for this crazy dream you have? But it took faith, right, on both sides. Hers, even to bring it to light, to say it, and then me to willingly, support her and follow. But yeah, words don't even describe what she means to me, what she's done for me, what she continues to do for me, support. Yeah, man, Slick Vic's amazing.
Slick Vic, baby.
People might look at her in one way, like she's just like so happy all the time, and like, but that's who she is. She can't help being herself, and people like it, people don't like it. It doesn't matter.
That's what's cool too, is we've seen it from the outside coming in, not knowing y'all that well, and then going to the gym. The same gym. First of all, Slick Vic got that dog in her. She is a great athlete. Slick Vic, let's go. But no, it's like she does bring a light, and I've heard people at the gym that don't even know talk about, man, when Victoria was here, it really changed the culture of the gym. They talk about your whole family, but her as well, and so that's actually an interesting topic too. So we both can speak to this. We both have a very strong wife, like strong physically and competitively, but also just like strong personality type, strong leader of the home, of the workplace, of people around, like a leader in every sense of the word, but also like a supportive wife too. So like, can you speak to that a little bit? Like, because we know, hey, culture says one thing about strong women and strong men and how that dynamic's supposed to look. The Bible says another thing. But like, can you speak to that, being a man and being strong in your own rights, but also having a strong wife, and not, to me, it looks like y'all don't let it get weird, because like Vic is very strong on her own. You are very strong on your own. You're both in leadership, but y'all still follow spiritual order, and y'all's dynamic flows very well together. So can you speak to that a little bit, like how to lead as a man, but while still having a very strong wife, and not stifling her, but lifting her up too?
Yeah, I think that's one aspect that I'm starting to walk in this season of my life, is Christ is above me. I'm there. My wife, and then our kids, and it's a hierarchy you talked about. It's biblical that women have a certain place, and I might ruffle some feathers, but I believe that their primary thing is to serve us as the husbands, and to take care of the children and the home, and to be that first off. I'm not saying women can't go out and accomplish amazing things, because there's plenty of people that do, but I don't think that they'll most women won't find the true fulfillment and the peace in life without that first. And then she's walked in that. And I think it's counter to the culture. The culture says both people got to be working, they got to be out there making a living. To me, there's nothing wrong with that as long as the home's good, the relationship's good, first off. So me, I just try to be a servant. I just try to serve her, love on her. And the more I come to know Christ, the more I love her and fall in love with her and want to love on her and want to bless her. Like, we're called to be a blessing, and that doesn't mean that we don't bless our family. We can only bless other people in the communities and whatever. It's like, no, that's the first place that we bless. Like wife, kids, people around us, our loved ones, our community, our church, all those things. It's a ripple effect. But if it's not from the top down, it's not from Jesus to me to her to, it's not going to work out.
Yeah, I think the spiritual order is important. The Christ, husband, wife, and people hear that sometimes and they say, oh, her responsibility is to serve me. But they skip the part where it says, yeah, but the husband's responsibility is to die to the wife. Pick up your cross and love your wife like Christ loved the church, that he gave his life up for her. So the world hears submission, and that's become a weird cultural word, but it's like, yes, submit to a Christ-loving, God-fearing husband who is willing to die for you.
Yep.
That sounds like someone that they could submit to, and that, submit to. But it's because we're also living that out, serving our wives, and we are called to that, give up our lives for our wife. And I think, yeah, like you said, I serve her, she serves me. Two servants in love is a great marriage, and both pointing back to Jesus. That's a great thing. So, okay, that's wifey, amazing, Slick Vic, we love her. But also talk about Briella a little bit. What does Briella mean to you?
Yeah, so Briella's my 11-year-old. She was the one that was in Mama's tummy when I was in jail. She has been an absolute blessing.
Y'all both got set free?
Yeah.
Maybe at the same time. One from prison, one from the womb,
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. She's so intelligent and she's so smart. Like school, she loves school. She wakes up and she's ready to get to school, and she just thrives there. It's just something she's meant to do. She's found her calling right now in this season in her life. It's just to be an amazing student. And she's been able to reach people in her school, so like her students or her classmates and stuff, with Christ, and that's amazing. The other day we were on a run. She's doing a school program. It's called Girls on the Run, and so it takes all the girls after school. They'll do a lot of like encouraging, like uplifting words of wisdom, like how to get through these teen ages and like deal with life and deal with bullies and deal with all this stuff by also implementing fitness in it as well. And she's at the end of the year, we do like a family 5K at one of the parks around here. And so we were doing a practice run with her school and all the students and all the parents and everything. So we go do this run, and I'm running with her. And we get about halfway through, and we haven't stopped. And she looks over at me, and she's like, Dad, can we pray? And I was like, yeah. And so like I was about to open my mouth, and she starts praying. And she starts just like thanking God for the ability to run, thanking God for the breath in her lungs, like, please give me the strength to continue, like just praying just like her mother. And dude, it brought me to tears. It was the most special time that I've had with her that I can remember. And you don't always see the fruit, like when you're talking to them every single morning about Christ, and like, they're about to go to school and you're praying with them and this and that, and like you don't see them in their prayer time alone, but like when somebody prays by themselves, and she prays by herself. It makes me emotional right now thinking about it, but it's like, she's amazing, man. She's amazing.
This thing we did talks about sometimes when you spend that time with them, that one-on-one time, and you're just there with them and in the kids' presence, like they don't, there's no lead up to it, but sometimes they just open a window to their heart. And to see that, I've seen that with my own kids. Not that, but like when they open that window to their heart, it's always really special. It's so cool to see how pure and innocent those kids are, and how full of joy and peace they are, and like how special their life is. It's like we just see them as like, oh yeah, that's our kids, but like each one individually is so special. It's such a blessing to be a part of. Let me check something real quick. We're still live, baby. But, okay, it's still going. I'm making sure I forgot to delete memory before we began. So I was making sure that the recording is still going. Anyways, breaking the action. Okay, so Briella, amazing. If I lean into that too much, I might tear up like a baby too.
Yeah.
Like a grown man, masculine baby, full of muscle and tears. What about Mr. Bryden, Big Bubba, or Lil Bubba?
Yeah, he's
with his
something
gold
else.
chain.
He's,
What about Bryden? Speak about him a little bit.
Man, spitting image of me.
I saw you hit it in the park home run the other day. Boom, killing it.
Yeah, he's doing great. 8 years old, getting into third grade. It's a little bit more difficult than his past years. So, and he doesn't necessarily. He loves being home with mama. He had that early on one-on-one time with mom, learning the basics and stuff before he actually got into school. And so I think he longs for that mom relationship. And so he's not too excited to go to school in the morning. He would rather be homeschooled by mom. But man, he's so smart in his own way. Like, and just like Victoria, he's so funny, and he's just so outgoing. He's a people person, and like he has all his own gifts. It's totally different than Briella, and he's trying to figure it out. But like I feel like he's walking in the right direction, and I think seeing Victoria and I, and then also Briella when she's outspoken, when she decides to be a leader instead of like fighting him, like siblings do. They have their moments, whatever. But when she decides to be a leader, I think she's giving him something to actually step into and follow. And so I'm really excited to see what God's going to do in his life because he's cool. Super talented.
That's cool. Yeah, he looks like naturally funny, charismatic.
Yeah.
Athlete.
Yeah, he's going to do some amazing things.
Sometimes him and Adeline be hugging, so I have to watch him like, hey, brother, come on.
Yeah,
but that's a good future husband, maybe.
Who knows?
My daughter's 6, so I guess could happen. It could happen in 35 years from now. It could happen whenever she's ready to date.
Yep.
But okay, amazing, dude. So Christian, follower of Christ, husband, dad, amazing. Let's talk about the workplace a little bit, not K-Mac necessarily, but like so you have all these a lot of times it's a tough walk for the husband too. It's like, okay, especially once we're born again and we know Jesus and we follow the Lord, like, hey, I know what I'm called to do. I hear what they're saying. I read the word. I read this. I hear what they're saying at church. I'm called to lead. The world says this. The point I'm getting to is, how do you wrestle with purpose in the workplace after you find out who you're created to be? Christ follower, husband, father, all these amazing gifts and joy, but like we still got to walk the day out. Like we still have bills that come in the world. We have, things we got to take care of. You want to provide for your family in a good way. We want to be doing something fulfilling, but sometimes we just got to do the work that's in front of us too to provide. So like, talk about that journey for you. Like, what does that mean? Like, hey, I'm doing this. How do I find purpose in this wherever I'm at with whatever I'm doing? Just talk about maybe your career journey a little bit too, and what you're thinking about when I asked that.
Yeah, I think before Christ, when you think about career, it's all materialistic, it's all monetary, it's meaningless in a sense. And I think that it's the same hierarchy we're talking about in the household. I think there has to be a business, whatever, like true fulfillment in Christ, a Christ walk in business or working for someone. It has to be like that from top down as well. The leader has to be led by Christ, and then everyone else that follows as well. I think that's going to bring about, that's why I'm so excited to be stepping into what I am now, because I haven't had that in the past. Any career I've decided to go down, it's only monetary. It's like, how many hours can I work? How much money can I save to buy these things that ultimately don't mean anything? And I think being a man, our identity is wrapped up into that, into how much money we have in the bank, or how much money we think other people have in the bank. That's a huge thing. It's like you start comparing yourself to other men, all these nice things they have, and you realize like it's all empty. It's all meaningless. You look at those people that have all that stuff, well, they're missing the most important things. They're missing the relationship with their wife, or knowing their kids, having peace when they wake up in the morning, like just the simple things like that.
The real riches.
Yeah, the real wealth, absolutely. So currently, like currently I feel like I'm walking in exactly what I need to be, and I think I've been built up over the past decade. All the skills I've acquired, knowing Christ as being one of those, because I believe that it's a constant pursuit, it's a constant choice, and I think through KMAC, I think the goal is going to be to not just do construction, but to serve others, to serve the community, to be there for people when they're at their lowest points, um, to make sure that they're taken care of, to show Christ through our actions. Not and we will get the opportunity to share it through our words, but I think our actions are going to speak louder than those. And I'm very excited to be a part of that. Something that I know from the top down is influenced by Christ.
Let's go.
Yeah, so
Okay, man.
I'm currently in the best place that I have ever been in my life, all the way around. Not just in my family life, but workplace. Very, very fortunate.
That fires me up because it's like, yeah, it's a journey. But I mean, I think there's even, no, I mean, thank you for saying that, Tab. I'm excited about what's to come too. God's already moving in a lot of big ways, and I think it's cool that we get to be a part of it. But I think, can you speak to it too? Because I think it's very impressive, your journey. Like not necessarily having that before, the Christ follower as a leader or part of the company, just working in the plants in Baton Rouge for what, 10 years?
Yeah.
But also knowing you, when I met you, this brother's waking up at 3:30 a.m. or getting on the road at 3:30 a.m.
Yeah.
Waking up at 3 a.m. every day, driving to the plants, worked there for a decade, stayed, even though didn't feel the fulfillment you feel from the workplace that you do now, stayed faithful, didn't know what was to come, showed up and sacrificed for your family, even though you were not necessarily happy where you were. To talk about sacrifice, like 3 a.m., bro, driving an hour each way, missing things with the family, missing time with the family to serve and to fulfill that position, your role, even when you were further from the Lord as well. Speak to that a little bit. Just staying faithful, staying true to the path, even though you didn't know where the path led, and still saying like, hey, I'm going to do this for my family. My wife has a dream, like I'm going to put myself last in this situation and do what it takes to help take care of that. Like, can you speak to that a little bit of how you stayed faithful during those times when you couldn't see the way out, you couldn't see?
Yeah, I think there was a lot of days, a lot of days full of anger and like, just wanting to do something different, feeling a call that I'm supposed to be somewhere different, but I'm stuck. Like this is just where I'm at. And then I think my wife probably helped me realize that it's like, well, you being a good steward now for your boss? Are you doing what you need to do to be a boss one day? It's like the mindset I had at the time was prideful, it was selfish, it was all these different things. I'm doing this, I'm working all these hours, my family's just having a good time, my wife's not working, she's playing around at the gym, which is not the case. Like she's working hard, like she's putting in the grind.
That was what you would feel.
Yeah,
sometimes.
like sometimes I would feel like that, and
woe is me.
Yeah, woe is me.
This is so hard.
Absolutely.
And rightfully so. It was hard, but
at a certain point, I had to man up, and I had to realize that it's not woe is me. It's like I'm here for a purpose, and I can impact every single person here in some form or fashion. So I would say probably the last 3 or 4 years that I was working at my last job, I made it a point every day, even though I didn't feel like it, to get up there and be a light to all those guys I worked with. Because
guys
I didn't
that were probably full of the world, cussing, saying this, saying that,
bad about their wives, talking, like.
So a place you didn't want to be in.
No,
but still choosing.
And a godly man shouldn't want to be in those environments, right? Like it's not fruitful. But at the same time, like there was a reason I was there, and so first off was to be a faithful servant to my boss, because I know that one day when I step into something, I'm going to want faithful people under me. And so I knew that was the path, and that was through God's word. He showed me that. And so I just made sure I was faithful, diligent in my work, and then also just a light to everyone, and took every single opportunity that I had to speak Christ, even though people didn't want to hear it. And there was a big pushback from the community involved in those big corporations. They don't necessarily walk like Christ. They walk like the world.
Talking about that.
Yeah. And so I don't want to say it was fear, but like the understanding that if it came down to it, there was going to be some persecution. But I didn't care. It's like Christ has done so much for me that I need to share him with everybody possible. And so like I did that, and that brought me a lot of fulfillment. And I just had to be patient. And I knew another opportunity was going to come about. And my wife reassured me that like, she kept jamming the promises of God down me. Like she just like, no, you need to just be faithful, be patient, and all these things are going to happen. And
probably once you started doing that too, a lot of the pressure that you felt before, even though you're in the same exact place, same exact job, still wanting to get out, your perspective was probably totally different.
yeah,
And your days were probably different. Doesn't mean there wasn't some hard days.
yeah, I still did the same thing.
Same job.
Still walked in
same
the same
place.
I still woke up at the same time, went to the same place, all this and that, but my perspective
Your
changed.
attitude was probably different. What would you say to that? Because I think, dude, a lot of guys that I talk to, they struggle with that. A lot of husbands and fathers, like, they struggle with that. What's my purpose? Like, I'm just working this job. I hate this job. I hate the negative, negative, negative. But they're missing all the blessing, and they're missing it's a great opportunity to serve where they're at and serve their family, whether their wife works or not, or does it, but like to have that perspective. What would you say to those guys that are just struggling in that where you were? They're like, I've been years at the same place. I don't like this job. There's no point to what I'm doing. There's no purpose in this. I'm getting no fulfillment. What would you tell that guy if he was standing in front of you?
I could give a worldly answer, but I think it all comes down to how people choose to feed themselves on a day-to-day basis. And like to have that mindset of like, woe is me. It's like, what are you feeding yourself? You're feeding yourself to the trash of the world. Because ultimately, if you're feeding yourself the right things, the things of Christ, you're feeding yourself good biblical teaching, good podcasts, good like sermons and like good music and all these things and having fruitful conversations and stuff, your perspective is not going to be that. So it's like, first off, you have to feed yourself properly. And that starts from the moment you get up. And so it's not so much like, I can be a faithful janitor if I have the right perspective. It doesn't really matter where you're at. Mm-hmm. And we're not all called to be like,
the president.
Yeah, the president,
you know what
CEO of this company or whatever. President. But like, I could be the best janitor.
Could be the best servant.
Yeah.
Regardless of income.
I think it's all about perspective, and I think that stems from knowing your identity and how you're feeding yourself and a bunch of different factors. But I think the root is like, what are you grounded in? Are you grounded in the Word?
Are you grounded in the Word and Jesus? Are you grounded in your own selfishness, that it's all about you and what you desire? God knows our desires too. That's the cool thing. He knows the desires of our heart, and He probably wants to give it to us, just like we want to treat our kids well. But it's like sometimes I feel like it does take that stewardship and saying like, hey God, I don't care where you have me. This is how I'm going to show up. Like, because you had to show up that way and still 4 years later stayed in the same place, even though you were ready to be out. A decade at a job and I think probably too, as your stewardship and attitude changed, your income probably changed over there too. I'm sure your position probably changed.
Yeah.
And the advances came, not because you were looking for them, but because you were the type of person.
It's almost like as my heart started to change, as the condition of my heart started to change, started to soften. God was doing some things. It went from knowledge to my heart. All the stuff I was taking in, all the good stuff, all the good feeding. We can feed ourselves bad stuff. Once it got to my heart, it's like I saw the outpouring.
Didn't matter anymore.
It's like things just start to change around me. It's like the byproduct of seeking Him, His Word, feeding yourself the right things. It's just a byproduct. It's an overflow, and you just see these things in your life working out, and you look back and you're like, how'd that even happen? It doesn't even make sense.
It really doesn't.
I wasn't trying to do that. It just happened. Well, it's not by chance. It was because you chose to feed yourself the right way. You chose to be around the right people. You chose to make the hard decision and delete phone numbers from your cell phone, the people you shouldn't be hanging around with, making tough decisions, not to go to that search engine and search something you're not supposed to be looking at, feed yourself that way.
Mind.
It's like there's so many choices that we need to make, but
I think it's cool how you said I could say a worldly answer. The worldly answer I'm thinking is like, man up. Quit being a baby. Man up. I think the scripture and spiritual answer speaks to that too, but it's also just like, hey, look, go from selfish, woe is me. Woe is me is selfish. Selfless isn't. You're not looking at yourself. You're looking at, like you did, looking at your boss. How can I serve him? How can I speak life to the people around me? How can I be positive? I don't feel good. I don't feel positive. How can I be positive in this environment though?
Yeah. So how do you know what man up is if it's not from the Word? Because the world's definition of man up is different than a biblical. Because to man up biblically, you need to serve.
You need to die.
Yeah, you need to be like Jesus, the ultimate servant.
sacrifice.
I
Serve.
mean,
The washing of the feet.
doesn't make
And not
sense.
pointing to yourself, pointing to others. And
Yeah.
no, it's amazing. And I love it. And the cool thing is, knowing your story, like God led you here. We weren't trying to do this. Like this just happened. I knew we were friends, and now we work together. And you're serving the company that we have in a great capacity, and the perfect person I didn't even know I was looking for. But it was cool how the promise you even knew is like one day God is going to elevate my position based on my character, and I don't know how or when or what. And the cool thing is I know the answer. You started with us a month and a half ago, and that happened. I chose you for the position. I mean, God chose you for God brought us together literally, but the position was granted not because of your your credentials for the position. Turns out you have those too, which is great, but it was because of the character, like that's the person that God knew we needed, and it's cool how seeing your story full circle is pretty amazing. Man,
I kind of always doubted that God. I always prayed for that kind of promotion. It's like, how do you put who I am in Christ on a resume and give it to somebody, and
really?
it hold value,
Really?
right? And so like I prayed for that a long time, and then it was just
on your LinkedIn profile, you're like, I love Jesus.
yeah, exactly. People are not just like, here's all this money.
Well, the world
come work
says you
for
got to
me.
get credentials, degrees,
Yeah.
this, certificates, training, LinkedIn profile, this, resume, all this. Like, no, that's the world is saying that. They can't. I didn't mean to jump in,
But no, but I just felt like God just kept telling me to just be like faithful where I was and doing what I was doing in that capacity, and something like that would happen. Now I kind of doubted it because I'm like, it doesn't make sense. But
the cool thing is you doubted, but you kept doing it.
yeah,
It didn't make sense. You didn't know how it was going to happen, but you kept doing it anyway.
that's true.
God's telling me to be faithful. He's going to elevate me one day. God, how's that even going to happen? Still did it. And the cool thing is we know the story. Here you are. It happened.
It happened.
Out of nothing. No trajectory. I don't even know how it happened. I don't even know how we're sitting here. That's what's cool is like God showed you something, you stayed faithful, and it came true.
Yeah, man.
So pretty amazing. I think we could land the plane. I think me and you could talk forever, but a great conversation so far. I want to wrap probably with a few more questions, but let's talk about what's something you learned recently, either podcast, book, message, sermon, like what's something that recently has been like really groundbreaking to you and you're like, man, this one really hit home. Anything recently? Book, podcast,
Yeah,
message from church?
I'm gonna say a church message. Pastor Chris, our Savior's Church, Youngsville, was talking about how the oil is in the church, it's in the house, and he brought it Old Testament, where the oil was multiplied, and I think that I've been feeling a strong tug to become a part of a church, I'm grounded in a church and like attending regularly and doing some stuff outside of just the normal stuff on Sundays. And that message was just kind of like confirmation for me as the man of the house to lead my family into something like that, to where we can be around other families, other people that love Jesus and serve the community. And I think it's up to us, and I think that was the purpose behind the message, is like we need to step up as the people of the house and realize what we have there. And I'm still meditating on that message, but it's something that really hit hard, and I think it keeps growing, and like the layers keep getting
baby.
pulled
Spiritual
back.
onion.
And so that's something recently that it's just like a confirmation, but also revelation.
That message was fire. We're putting the oil is in the house on the wall somewhere in the building in here. But no, just like that. You don't have to look to the outside. What God has already given you, what you need, and it's sitting in the corner of your house, and you're looking at it like, oh, it's just this small jar of oil, but it's actually everything you need and more. And he's once you look at it and are willing to accept it and listen, he can multiply it too. And that message could speak to so many things.
I feel like it really hit home for me too, how it echoes into the new covenant, what we have now in Christ. From the moment of salvation is not just being saved and going to heaven. It's like that so many spiritual blessings came from the renewing of our spirit, us having the Holy Spirit now. Like all those spiritual blessings are within us, but we keep that valve closed and we don't allow those spiritual blessings to come out of us. Like we are the ones limiting God in a sense, by not taking advantage of the things that he has given us, the oil that we have available
You might
to
see
us,
like,
right?
hey, God has gifted me in this area, but you're like, why am I use that? Like, why am I gonna use that gift? That's not gonna help anybody. That's not gonna serve this person. That's not gonna elevate me. Like, oh, it's just my oil. Like, it's not. God can't use this. And once you actually lean into the way He's gifted you, He's created you the way you are for a reason. Um, and once you do pour it out, yeah, it could be multiplied. I mean, that message, you can go. It's such a cool message. I almost
So
want to
many
do a
different
full
ways. Yeah.
sermon breakdown of it right now. But that's fire. Yeah, if you haven't, in the Old Testament, I mean, the cool thing about it is it points to the cross too, is that the woman had a debt she could not pay and could never pay and was going to lose her sons. And not only did God make a way for the debt to be paid, just like on the cross, but also for the rest of their lives, He cared for them as well. It's enough to live off for the rest of your life. So, fire message. We could get turned up about that. Whenever I hear the oil's in the house, I'm ready to like set something on fire, rip my shirt, and start running through the wall.
Yeah, I think there's something truly supernatural that's going on at our Savior's as a whole, but also individually at Youngsville campus. I believe that
there's a move of God there right now.
Yeah, for sure. Pastor Chris is speaking some fire, and I get so excited anytime I get to hear him speak. Whether it's I heard him speak at a wedding for somebody a couple weeks ago, and it was just like the best wedding I had ever been to. Like he called people to believe in Jesus, and it's like there's something supernatural, bro.
We'll run through a wall today.
God has anointed him to do some major things.
It's true, and God has just lined up a lot of pieces, and the people that are coming there, it's amazing to be a part of. It's really cool. I'm really excited for that. But okay, there's two other things, concepts that let's go into one first. See if we have time for the other. But so this podcast was called "Choose to Climb." I think we're going to do a brand shift more to the distinction of pursuing heaven on earth. God, your kingdom come, your will be done, as it is heaven on earth as it is in heaven. Like heaven on earth, and experiencing that in 7 days a week lifestyle, not just a one day, not just a when I do this, but regardless of position, regardless of workplace, like how can we pursue heaven on earth every day where all of that blends together? Family life, work life, church life, spiritual family, heaven on earth concept. So that's where this podcast is going. But so the concept of heaven on earth, what does that mean to you when I talk about that? What does that mean to you?
I think that goes back to somebody, like most people don't understand what they have been given at the point of salvation. They have been given access to the Father through what Jesus did. And so we can know the Father now. We don't have to wait till eternity. I believe eternity starts now. I believe we can have a relationship to where when we get there, we're going to already know Him. We're going to have so many situations, so many interactions, so much life given to us. Like this is now, eternity is now. It starts now for the believer. And I believe that we also need to show that to everyone else. So heaven on earth, like we can literally make this earth look like heaven. To the best of our earthly abilities. We still battle in the flesh, but like in the spirit, like if we get out of the way and allow the Spirit of God to flow, then we can do the best we can with what we've got, make earth look like heaven.
Come on.
Sure. Yes.
Heaven on earth, baby.
It's now. It's not till
we don't wait till we go to heaven. Heaven's now. Bring it down. Lord, let it fall. No, fire. Love it. Dude, one more question, but before I get to the last question, dude, just want to honor you for a second. I mean, not only, for some reason, when we met, I was like, dude, did we just become best friends? It hit off right away, but it's just been a good friend, like a brother, a good companion in this battle. I mean, men need other men to lean on. Husbands need other husbands. Fathers need other fathers. So it's cool to have you in my circle of people. But also just honor you, dude, the way you show up, the way you show up at, the gym, when we go there, workplace, just as a person and a brother. Just thank you for that. And then also, dude, just see you as a leader of men. I've seen you pour into guys. We're in a construction company together, but I've seen you pour into subcontractors, workers, homeowners already in a month and a half. And so I just see you just leading a lot of people, and just you and Vic being so important in people's lives, and then obviously what you do at your own home. So I just want to honor you for that, dude. I just thank you. I'm grateful to have you in my life, and it's an honor to get to know you even more in this podcast setting too.
I appreciate that.
Come on. So last question. Okay. This is a question that was on my mind. If you had one message, if you had to shrink it down to like one sentence, no other teachings you ever talked to Briella, Bryden, Victoria about, you can't tell them anything else, you can't write it down, you can't leave it, you can't write a book. You get one thing to tell them at the end of time. And you had to, for not only them, but everyone. If everyone in the world, anybody important to you, anybody you never even met, somebody you just wanted to reach, and you had to shrink it to one sentence, what would you say?
Seek first the kingdom of God, and all those things will be added.
Come on, baby. What a way to cap it off.
Yeah, absolutely.
TC, Tori Courville, my brother.
Thank you, bro.
Thanks, man.